And I think the biggest thing is for people to find engagement, connection, not just from the head, but from the heart. And as leaders, especially in manufacturing, where people are very process oriented, black belt sustainability, uh, uh, lean manufacturing, all those things are absolutely critical. But I find a lot of the clients that I speak for from either associations or companies like Siemens or Honda, it's that heartfelt connection that many leaders and coworkers need to have for each other. And that could be a little bit uncomfortable for folks who are very, in the grind, process motivated. So that human connection is more critical than ever. We need engagement, we need heart, we need open collaborative communication.
Yeah, and I think right now, 2020 is such a perfect year for that because we're dealing with so many things that we've never dealt with before. With the pandemic, you have workers working from home. They don't know if their kids are going to be in school. Are they going to be from home? Are they going to be able to see their parents? So it's much more, we have to connect with our employees on that personal level, like you said, from the heart. And there's just those reminders that particularly right now, it's not all about business. It really is about building that connection.
Absolutely. An example is, long story short, I was late for one of my mission briefings in the Air Force. And when you're late for a briefing, it doesn't make a difference why. You're grounded for that day. And if it happens more than a few times, you could be grounded permanently and lose your wings. So we take it seriously. But my commander, when I showed up, instead of going off on me and criticizing me for being late and impacting the squadron, our operational effectiveness, so to speak, he said, Waldo, I know you're late. This isn't like you. Is everything okay at home? Do you feel all right? Talk. Mm-hmm. And he connected with me as a person, not just as a pilot. And that type of leadership, when chaos is ensuing, when our kids are being homeschooled, when we have our own healthcare issues, my parents are 91 and 86 right now. My sister, who's an RN, is dodging that missile on the home front in New York. There's so much that's going on. When you press pause on your immediate gut instinct to criticize, right, connect, ask questions, you're marinating the steak of that relationship. You're enhancing loyalty, which reduces turnover, which gets people to be more focused and in tune to the job, just by you pausing and making that small connection. And it doesn't mean you can't potentially fire somebody if they're not right, doing things with integrity, if they're really not following processes or creating safety issues. But it does mean, before assuming, ask those questions, build that connection, and help solve problems.
Yeah, and I liked what your manager had to say to you, or, as far as this isn't like you. He was still holding you accountable, letting you know that you were late. Right. But on the other hand, it was finding out about you and asking the question instead of jumping to that immediate judgment, which sometimes, depending on the type of day we're having, that we want to do. And leadership is certainly not the place for that. It's coming from that understanding.
Right. Right. And understanding, the you and trust is understanding the people, understanding what drives them, what their focus is. Many folks who may be working with you or for you, people who are watching this, may be single moms or dads. Maybe their spouse is having challenges. Maybe business is going great for them and things are so great that they forget to actually appreciate the folks who are actually out there doing the job. So many businesses right now, the biggest challenge isn't necessarily profit. It's maintaining operational effectiveness and safety because they're bombarded with work. People are making money. And now because they're so busy, now we need to make sure, hey, are we following proper procedures? Are we double checking Joe or Joanne, who maybe is working so hard? Maybe she doesn't have time to scream out, I need help. Maybe. Right. And so keep your eyes sweeping as a leader for those folks who are doing the job, but maybe in the process, running out of fuel in their tank and need to take a break to refuel, retool, because some people are so disciplined and so loyal that now they're breaking down their own airframe. And in the long run, in order to maintain operational effectiveness, sustainability, we must sustain that aircraft called us so that we can be great on the factory floor, in the manufacturing plant, or in sales or whatever environment that we're in.
Right. And just keep in mind that that stress level, and that appreciation goes in such a long way, because a lot of times we focus on, what's going wrong or things aren't going according to plan. So
Right.
when they're going well, we don't even think about it. So taking that step back and appreciating the people, but also understanding that we are at this completely different level of stress right now.
Sure.
So knowing that, of giving yourself a break, practicing self-care, and making sure that you as a leader are letting your employees do that same thing.
And another key word I think you're getting at, Lisa, is complacency. Complacency in our disciplines, complacency in our radar sweep, communicating with our team. Oh, Mike's doing great. Sabrina's doing awesome. Lisa, she's on time, on target all the time. I'm just going to ease back on the throttle of checking in. And we do it with our spouses and partners as well. Just because things are going great on the home front doesn't necessarily mean you can't do what I did last night. I wrote my wife a little thank you card for creating a fun Halloween party for my son. We had just a couple kids over. They went trick-or-treating. We did as much social distancing as we could, but she created an experience and created
Yeah.
love in the family. How
Yeah.
would you, as a leader, creating love in in the family, doing those little love notes, so to speak, the word of praise, the acknowledgement, and coming from a fighter pilot, maybe that doesn't seem standard, but my best commanders were just like Psycho, the one that didn't discipline me when I was late. They were the ones who understood that to maintain loyalty and execution and safety, we had to connect and ask some of those questions. It's easy to do, but easy not to do. Don't become a lazy loafer at work, especially with your top performers. Keep them appreciated. Keep your eye on them. That's your job as a leader and even as a coworker, because somebody is always going to be in the dungeon of doubt, paralyzed by fear. They may not ask for help, but you want to create that environment where they can come to you for help, and you should be able to give those wings away, which is part of my whole philosophy of not flying solo and being a wing ma'am to those top guns who need you up and ready and pushing that throttle to full power.
Well, and even like you said about the thank you note, there's something about that tangible evidence of a job well done. You can tell people that you appreciate them, and you can say the words, and that creates that great memory of that great feeling. But when you're actually giving somebody that tangible proof, whether it be a thank you note, whether it be a Post-it note, for goodness sake, we all have Post-it notes all over the place, but you're giving somebody tangible proof. And I promise you that, that note that you gave to your wife, she's not going to throw that away. That's something that you keep and you treasure. And just like in the workforce, your employees treasure those things too. So it's not only the relationships that we have in the workplace, but a lot of these same practices we can adapt at home and create happier homesteads too.
Happier homesteads where people who are going above and beyond, my wife is taking care of our son for the most part. I'm in the dungeon working, doing these programs. I need her mission ready. I need her discipline, squeezing as much juice out of the lemon of the day sometimes as possible. So when she feels appreciated, when your coworkers and employees feel appreciated and acknowledged for the great work that they're doing, then when they have to work that 12 or 14-hour shift, then when they need to coach that new hire and maybe inconvenience themselves from doing what they want to do, their job, and maybe being the wingman or wingman to others, right? Now you're building that loyalty, the work ethic, and the sweat and sacrifice that is so critical. At the end of the day, we're all working harder. It's a lot easier to do when we feel appreciated, acknowledged, and maybe even rewarded for the great work that we're doing. And that's what I try to do with my wife and for the best vendor partners in my company and for my clients as well, who continuously say yes. We can't forget those folks who are acknowledging us, signing on the dotted line, paying our bills, because now more than ever, those relationships count.
And I think too, sometimes when we're in a long relationship, whether it be a marriage or a personal relationship or a professional relationship, we assume that, oh, he or she knows how I feel about them. Oh, she knows I appreciate them. He knows I appreciate her. But taking that extra time and just really, it doesn't matter that they may know it. You need to tell it and share it and do that as early and often as possible, because that's how we create relationships.
And I think also, and it's a great point, Lisa, that as the flight lead, as the leader of your group, your division, plant manager, whatever it is that you're doing, that you also need to acknowledge that you too need to refuel and retool. That as leaders, we may be spending so much time taking care of others as the commander, monitoring, watching, that we forget about the wingman or wingman staring back at us when we put our flight suit on every morning. That we
Right.
need to press pause, to watch our diet, to say a mindful prayer, to seek help from our teammates and maybe folks outside of work who acknowledge us as leaders, who can lift us up, who provide fuel to our airframe. And I've seen this happen so much with leaders who do burn out, because many times they don't have folks to go to. Their job is to be out front, flying the combat missions, taking the missiles for the team. Remember, you have to be cognizant of your own resilience, your own strength. That's why today, I prayed, I meditated, I spent some time with my wife. I did my work. We were communicating before, making sure that we were on time, on target. But I have to make sure I'm taking care of me so that I could take care of other people. Find out what you need to do and be selflessly selfish so that you can give more of your blessings to the people who are depending on you to lead them to create the vision and trajectory in the workplace, be it on the manufacturing floor or in the sales field.
Exactly. Well, Waldo, I am so excited to have you. You're actually going to be kicking off with the first program. It's going to be next Tuesday. But for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you're going to have 25 experts sharing with you tips, strategies, ideas, whether you're a leader and you're looking for ideas to really connect with your team, or maybe you're an employee and you are, looking for some personal development. We have so many different topics. And even though everything is geared towards that employee retention and keeping your top talent from becoming someone else's, you're going to get so many ideas and real world things that you can use right now, today. And I'm so excited to see you next week at the Employee Retention Summit for Manufacturers. Again, Waldo, thank you so much for being here today. And I will see you next week. We'll see you at the summit.
You got it. I just put my contact information on if people wanted to get to know me better. But it was great flying with you. Lisa, you've done a great job connecting your team of Top Guns to provide a blessing. We all need new tools and techniques. Show up, take advantage of the summit, and we'll see you all next week. And happy voting. And God bless our veterans this next week.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Waldo.
You got it. Take care, Lisa.